Welcome everyone to my YouTube channel called Professor Hussein Crypto, and in today's video review we're going to talk about an interesting project where all of us can make some money. But before we get into the review, let me also remind you that you are fully responsible for your own investments, and I am not urging you to do anything. But before we start the video review, let's talk in more detail about the market as a whole. As we can see, the market is currently unchanged. That is, for some coins we are seeing a slight correction. Overall, the market is stagnant, moving sideways due to all the current events, such as meetings between various presidents, and the market remains at a standstill. This suggests that the market will grow in the future, and all favorable conditions will come together for the market to simply explode and for the long-awaited alt season to finally begin. And of course, I want to recommend that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, where you can always keep up with various videos that I post and stay up to date on all the new and interesting projects where you can all make a profit. So let's get started with exploring an interesting project called Electrokin Token Forum. Let's talk about it in more detail. This is a credit currency called Unity technology for various vendors and partners. It's safe, fast and inexpensive thanks to its underlying blockchain, which makes digital payments simple, secure, cost-effective and efficient. So let's discuss in more detail why it's relevant. In other words, security comes first. Let's go into more detail about that. That is, it is extremely secure, as safe as possible, and as I mentioned, it also offers communication and credit currency, and of course, low traditional costs. This means you can enjoy faster and cheaper payments, as well as vendor integration. You can also extend your purchasing power beyond the platform, which is quite convenient. And of course, it's worth talking about tokenomics. So here we have a total supply. Also, as we can see, we have this value, the buy-sell tax. It is set at 1%. There is also a transfer tax, which is set at 0%. And of course, here we have complete renouncement of ownership. As we can see from this information, here we have details about locked assets and of course the owned supply. Then of course, as for liquidity, it is also present here. But let's move on to the pairs section. Here you can see which trading pairs are available for this token. That is, you can trade it with Ethereum, also USDS, and use various other stable coins as well as coins, which is quite convenient for your trading. But let's move on to the roadmap. So, the roadmap is essentially where the project outlines all its plans for a particular quarter. As we can see here, the roadmap starts from the third quarter of 2025. Here you can see what goals this project has set for itself for this quarter, as well as, in fact, what plans it has for other quarters and which ones it has already accomplished. This is convenient for tracking and seeing how the project is moving in the right direction, how it is developing and how it is growing. The more the project develops, the more successful the token will be, and the more it will multiply in value. But let's move on to the section how to buy this token. First, you need to create a wallet. You can use MetaMask or any wallet of your choice. Then you need to get some base, that is the token, in your wallet, so you can exchange it for this token. After that, go to Uniswap, where you can connect to Uniswap either on your desktop or in the browser application, and of course, swap for this token. Everything is quite convenient. And as for partner projects, they are also present here. You can get acquainted with the partners of this project, see which partners this project is working with, and basically make sure that the project is working very well for them. You can also join their partner community, but we'll talk about that a bit later. Now let's talk about the white paper of this project. So let's go to it. The white paper, simply put, is a section where you can find all the up-to-date information about this project. In other words, you can see what concept this project is pursuing, what goals it sets for itself, what tasks it has, what its objectives are, and what inspires the team behind this project. And of course, you can find all the detailed information about this project here. This is quite convenient for studying various projects. And if you plan to research any project, I highly recommend that you go to the white paper section, where you can find all the information here. It's really convenient, I'll say it again. And of course, there is information here about the team behind this project. So you can get acquainted with the team, and if necessary, even contact some of them. It's very convenient. But let's scroll down a bit and go to the FAQ section. Here you can look through a short list of questions. If you have any questions, you can go to this section. If you have any of these questions, you can also find the answer here, which is quite convenient. You don't need to contact technical support, you just find your question here and get the answer, which is quite convenient. And of course, I recommend subscribing to their Telegram channel, where they regularly post various information related to the project. You can keep up with the latest information about this project on their Telegram channel. All you need to do is subscribe. You can also communicate with other users of this project, which is quite convenient for staying up to date with all the latest events.